Top lane. In professional play, they are the pillars of toughness and game-breaking ability. They are the ultimate X factor that almost no other team can account for. If you have an elite top laner, it is such a supreme advantage that it can almost not be put into words. And one of those giants of the top role was Marin. Let's take a look back at the career of the former mythical top laner of SK Telecom T1 and answer the question, how good was he really?
Wow, Marin! And just eviscerates!
Beautiful play!
A double kill for Marin! And now it will end!
Seemingly pulling this one back in their favor with just a few kills to the bot lane, and that's a double kill for Marin.
Marin began his career like many other elite players do, being a solo queue phenom. He at many points found himself near the top of the Korean ladder, which would quickly get noticed by none other than the great SKT. He first joined the competitive scene towards the end of 2013 when SK Telecom T1S was built around him. Imagine the most storied franchise in Korean esports history creating a team around a rookie. That's how good Marin was slated to be. However, results were hard to come by for T1S. They often found themselves towards the middle of the standings, but at least they did show up their sister team, T1K.
Impact gets a bit caught, already down to a third health. Can he take it out? Oh no, they can't steal it. And K is in big trouble now. EZUN gets the first kill on that one. EZUN backing out. Impact not doing anything. And S will absolutely destroy this team fight.
Marin versus Faker. Two elite players playing for the same banner, forced to fight each other for wins. If only you could combine their forces. As luck would have it, they would get the opportunity. The 2015 season would bring many changes to the Korean LoL scene, but none greater than the removal of sister teams. Suddenly, SKT T1K and T1S were one, and replacing former world champion Impact in the top lane was none other than Marin, and he was more than a worthy replacement. In the short preseason, the new SKT dominated, with Marin sporting a crazy 7.3 KDA from the top lane. But the real dominance was yet to come. After a momentary lapse in the standings, SKT went on to dominate the region during the rest of the split, and obliterated GE Tigers 3-0 in the finals. But the real story was Marin, and it's impossible to replicate playmaking from the top lane position. See, Korea had multiple elite carry top laners at the time, including Smed and Someday. But what made Marin unique was both his shot-calling ability and his incredible proficiency on his signature picks. Perhaps none more so than his Maokai and Rumble.
Continues to back away. They're going to go and slow him down with the smite, and will they be able to get him? They will. First,
the teleport flank.
He's not going to just advance onto Goong. Goong knocks him away, but EZUN right there. EZUN gets low. Manages to live. They had just enough damage coming in. They're going to throw it at Marin. Marin going to get away. He's going to pop his ultimate. The rest of SKT coming down. This may not have been the best idea for Najin. Baker is going to start off with a kill onto OQ. Marin gets a final blow into that one.
Over the course of 11 games, he won more than 90% of his games on Maokai, and the only 2 times he was given an opportunity to play Rumble, he burned his opponents to ashes.
To come back. Snap joins as well. I don't know if they can end right here. They're going to try EZUN. Maybe they'll trouble there as he flies her. Everest Divide goes down. Marin gets that kill onto the support. A double kill for Marin, and now it will end.
The team's spring victory qualified them for the mid-season invitational. SKT was back on the international stage after a hiatus the previous season. For Marin, he had already proved himself domestically. The question now became, could he do it on the international stage? After all, winning the big trophies is what the SKT organization is all about. But Marin wasn't the overwhelming rock of consistency that he was domestically.
And we're not going to get a chance to revisit it.
Oh,
now,
come on!
Is visiting Huni. You talked about SKT playing around Huni, and now they are doing it. Equalizer is down. It's Korean on Korean battle, and it's Huni that wins. Huni takes down Faker in a 2v1, and for Vivian once more.
Huni in particular found chinks in the top laner's armor, and although SKT made it to the finals, they were eventually defeated in historic fashion. It was a devastating loss for the organization and Marin. With renewed hunger and motivation following their MSI loss, Marin was a man possessed that summer split.
Here we go, coming in now. Can they catch him? Can headbutt pulverize? Great equalizer as Najin tries to escape into the jungle. Duke going deep now, trying to escape and banging a lot of hits from the outside. Absolute Zero does.
Looking at some of his stats here, in 14 games on Rumble, he won almost 85% of them with a 3.8 KDA. He won all of 11 of his Maokai games. Yes, not even a single loss. And his 4 games of Fizz were also all wins, with almost a 10 KDA for the season. Everywhere you looked, he was either up in CS, up in kills, up in gold, or more often than not, all 3 at once. As much as you could argue he was benefiting from quality teammates, those same teammates were benefiting from his top lane proficiency. He was in many people's eyes the best top laner in the world, and for a few, even potentially challenging Faker for the best player in the world. So came Worlds 2015, an opportunity for redemption following their tough MSI exit. Marin completely dominated everyone he ran into, whether it was getting revenge against ADG or beating AHQ and up-and-coming top lane sensation Civ.
The volatile Spiderling comes out, grand challenge is available, Civ gets the heal from Decimate, but it's not enough!
Or demolishing the European veteran Soaz.
One vital left, and Marin can't quite reach it, but he gets the slow. One hit will kill. A stun for Soaz, but it's enough.
Or even taking down another one of Korea's best in Smeb in the finals.
Little action towards the bot side. The teleport coming in right now from Marin. His ultimate is up. They lay down the equalizer. Wolf should be able to get out of this one. Marin into the fight now. Kuro and Prey are the targets, and that's going to be Kuro going down. SKT seemingly pulling this one back in their favor with just a few kills to the bot lane, and that's a double kill for Marin. Unbreakable Will is down, so it's definitely an option to go for Wolf. Marin's going to join the fight, and he lays down the red carpet for Smeb to enter, and it looks like Smeb will go down as he hits the front door. On the hunt, goes in. That's going to be Hojin in a real sticky situation. He goes down a full 3-man Gnar ultimate. That's going to be Smeb down now. Eyes onto the 80 will be your first ever 2-time world champions.
No one was a match for Marin at this point. His CS differential at the tournament at 15 minutes was almost 8. His damage percentage was huge for a top laner, and he had 11 solo kills, which is ridiculous considering how short SKT's series were in this tournament. After all, SKT only lost 1 single game in this entire tournament. They went 50-1 en route to the organization's second Worlds trophy and Marin's first. In his first year on the team, he had helped cement SKT as a dynasty on the international stage, and propelled himself into the conversation of one of the best players of all time. Who knows how many more trophies and achievements he could stack up with so much time to come in his professional career. The sky was the limit. If only you knew at the time that that Worlds run was the last we'd ever see of Marin in that light. Marin left SKT. He joined LGD, who recently got bounced out of Worlds in the group stage after being considered one of the favorites to win the tournament. But the team still had incredible talent on the roster. Not only that, but a move to China promised significantly more pay than what any LCK team could offer for a League of Legends player at the time. But the team struggled. Despite the talent on the roster, the team failed to put all the pieces together to get wins consistently. In both splits, the team finished with a middling record and were bounced out rather quickly in the playoffs. And Marin was having a miserable time.
Oh, Marin in trouble as Flandre is able to get the 1v1.
The former top phenom was becoming more of an afterthought with each passing game. All his numbers were down from his SKT days, and even his tried and true champions he could always fall back on were not delivering the same results. Of course, it was too hard to write off Marin completely just yet. Many Korean players struggled making the transition to the LPL because of the language and cultural differences. Perhaps Marin's drop-off in play wasn't all his fault. He would have a chance to prove that theory correct the following season. Marin went back on his initial decision to try out the LPL. He returned to Korea, joining the Afrika Freaks. Now, the Freaks always found themselves being a team that could punch above their weight, but never quite had the star quality to really challenge for the title. They felt acquiring Marin coming off a down split was a serious bargain. If he could return back to his SKT form, he could help the team climb up the LCK rankings fast. And Marin delivered on those hopes.
Marin is so deep here. The flash depth charge into the death sentence. Way too much damage being knocked up here by Kuro. That's a double kill. And even with all the back pings, Marin's still able to sneak his way in the back and set up a play for his team.
And Marin actually just taking the turn right.
Marin returned to being a dominant force in the top lane, at least during the laning phase. His CS differential at 15 minutes was the best in the entire league, and he ranked 3rd in the league with 13 solo kills. He was clearly back to being a strong top laner. But even still, he wasn't able to change the team's fortune as much as he wished. The team found themselves matched up against SKT of all teams during the summer playoffs. It was Marin's chance for revenge. But in that match, Marin was a shell of himself. All that laning dominance went out the window, and he failed to make much of an impact at all. The team was quickly discarded, and all Marin could do was watch on and realize, as the dynasty he played a part in creating moved on without him. The team ultimately failed to qualify for Worlds, losing a 5-game series to Samsung Galaxy, the team that would then go on to win the World Championship that year. For Marin, it was the ultimate punch to the gut. Not only would he not get another chance to prove himself on the world stage, but to come so close to defeating a future world champion, it was hard to take. The following year, Marin returned to China, this time joining Top Sports Gaming, easily the worst situation he had chosen to join in his entire career. Perhaps it was the money, or the desperation looming over his esports mortality that made Marin commit. Whatever it was, there was no miracle run or swan song for the former world champion. The team finished with an extremely poor record during the spring season, and in the summer season, they decided to even bench Marin altogether. For him, and for them, it was over. He left the organization at the end of the year. And then, on one faithful day, he turned on his Twitch stream after a long hiatus and told his fans he was retiring. Marin went on to coach, but never returned to the game again as a player. So his career came to an abrupt end. Looking back, it was easy to think at the time that this player would go on to dominate the game for years to come. But in reality, he turned out to be closer to a one-hit wonder than anything else. At his peak, he truly was arguably the greatest top laner in the world and one of the greatest of all time. But it is questionable that his only stint at that high level was with SKT and playing alongside the likes of Faker himself. Any of his stints away from Faker and the SKT organization had been poor, so I think it's fair to say that Marin was a player with extreme talent and an eye for making the right play at the right time. But he was also a product of the system. He was a really good player who found himself in the right position and made the most of it. But will he be remembered in the same light as Smeb or the Shy? No. And that's okay. Because Marin was a damn good player, and he was damn special nonetheless.